Doom Eternal's PC requirements have arrived. Will your PC rip and tear through it? In brief, Doom Eternal arrives at the end of next week, so it's time for Bethesda to reveal what kind of PC setup you'll need for the game's minimum and recommended settings. Doom Eternal is a beautiful game in which high frame rates are important. As such, hitting 60 FPS at 1080p, even with low settings, requires a 6GB GTX 1060, the most popular card among Steam users, or equivalent. Processor-wise, the minimum specs ask for at least an Intel Core i5 at 3.3 GHz, or AMD Ryzen 3 at 3.1 GHz, which should cover most gamers. It can also run on 64-bit Windows 7. Moving on to the recommended specs that will allow 60 PFS at 1440p with high-quality settings, Doom Eternal requires an RTX 2060 or equivalent. The processor demands go up to an Intel Core i7 6700K or better, or AMD Ryzen 7 1800X or better, while the memory requirements jump from 8GB to 16GB. Like most modern AAA games, this one will eat up a fair chunk of your drive space, 50GB, though that's less than some recent releases. Doom Eternal minimum PC specs. Requires a 64-bit processor and operating system. OS, 64-bit Windows 7 64-bit Windows 10. Processor, Intel Core i5 at 3.3 GHz or better, or AMD Ryzen 3 at 3.1 GHz or better. Memory, 8GB RAM. Graphics, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, 4GB, GTX 1060, 6GB, GTX 1650, 4GB, or AMD Radeon R9 290, 4GB/RX 470, 4GB. Storage, 50GB available space. Additional notes, 1080p, 60 FPS, low quality settings. Doom Eternal recommended PC specs. Requires a 64-bit processor and operating system. OS, 64-bit Windows 10. Processor, Intel Core i7 6700K or better, or AMD Ryzen 7 1800X or better. Memory, 16GB RAM. Graphics, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080, 8GB, RTX 2060, 8GB, or AMD Radeon RX Vega 56, 8GB. Storage, 50GB available space. Additional notes, 1440p, 60 FPS, high quality settings. We heard last week that ID Software's new ID Tech 7 engine is capable of pushing Doom Eternal to 1,000 FPS, not that there's any current hardware able to support those frame rates. But 60 FPS at 4K still looks very pretty. Doom 2016 is known for its pounding soundtrack, and the latest entry in the franchise will be no different. Composer Mick Gordon even put together a 20-person heavy metal choir composed of vocalists from various bands and backgrounds. Doom Eternal arrives on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on 20th March, with a Nintendo Switch version expected later this year. For more on this story, visit the news article link.